Our next panel is going to give us an answer on question, what capabilities will define the next generation of medical and commercial teams? This panel explores talent, transformation, and customer impact. Let's welcome Lauren Leahy from Lilly, Alex Condoleon from Pfizer, Letizia Hire from Servier, Paul Tuna, pharma expert, and Nataliya Andreychuk from Viseven.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hello again, everybody. In an era of rapid change, you'll be pleased to know I'm still Paul Tunner. I'm still CEO of an AI startup. That's not changed since this morning. But I know there is change going on for a lot of you, and I know it causes kind of angst and concern, and there's new skills and all that kind of stuff, and that's what we're here to speak about. So we're going to just put technology to one side for a moment and talk about people for 20 minutes, which I think is really important. And we're going to dive in first of all and just think about how are companies changing, what new skills are they looking for, how are they evolving in this rapidly changing landscape. Then we'll talk about what that means for us personally, and we'll hopefully give some advice that you can take away with you. So I'm going to work my way down with the first question. I'm going to start with Lauren, and I'll ask each of my panel to introduce themselves as part of their first response. But let's start with that company piece, because things are changing so rapidly. And as an entrepreneur, I haven't applied for a job for 20 years. I'd be totally lost if I had to do it right now.
No, it's not easy.
Lauren, give me your perspective. Where are things heading with companies? How do you see them evolving? What are they looking for now?
Okay, so yes, hi, I'm Lauren Leahy. I'm International Medical Affairs Omnichannel Lead at Lilly. And yes, you're right, the pace of change is crazy. And I think we've heard it across all of the different panels and presentations today, that the customer experience, what they're expecting from us is changing. Like in the last panel, we were hearing about medical information doubling every 73 days. How do they keep up with that? And then on the patient side as well, there's just so much information and misinformation we heard about as well coming at them. And so I think within all of that context, pharma have a responsibility to make sure that we're getting like credible, accurate science into the hands of those who need it, when and how they need it, I guess, to be able to make the decisions they need to make to be able to impact patient outcomes. And the skills, like you say, are completely different. It's not just, so in medical affairs, for example, it's not just about knowing the science inside and out. You need to be able to communicate it and to actually apply it at scale. You need to have the digital literacy and understand data and all of these sorts of things. But I think it's going to keep changing. So there's not some checklist that the companies can be using now to say, this is the perfect person. Whereas I think we would have to say that tomorrow's unicorn looks completely different to today's unicorn in terms of talent, which is already different from the unicorn of the past. So I think more than any particular skill, we should be looking for curiosity and adaptability so that we can have people who can become the unicorn of the moment and then keep changing as it's going to keep changing and get faster and faster, as you say.
Yeah, I love that. Throw out the rule book, it's changing too quickly.
That's right.
We need adaptability. I think we're all experiencing that. Alex, what's your perspective from where you sit within Pfizer?
Yeah, so good to be here, good to speak. So Alex Condoleon and I focus on how we can embed data analytics and AI in a lot of the medical and science communications and engagements that we're doing. Well, the first thing I think about is if we go back just a few months to JPM, I'm not sure a single one of our CEOs turned up and didn't say AI is a priority. Right? And I think we have to talk about that, because when they say things like that, fear ripples through the organization. And I think fear ripples through because people are worried about how they have to reskill, how they're about to be re-rolled, and whether they're at risk of redundancy, just to bring the 3 R's together for a second. And I don't know that we fully know what re-rolling is going to be. I think we're discovering it. And I say that because I don't think we know what's going to happen in 3 months' time, let alone how we catch up to where we're at today. Lauren talked about digital fluency, and we use these terms like AI fluency and digital fluency. I think they're really important. And if I just keep it really simple, I think we all need to understand that the more we put into leveraging AI, the more we get out of AI. We need to understand that AI is not here to give us a vacation, it's here to give us a new vocation, right? And until we stop blaming the tool or fearing the change, then I think we can find a path where we create value for healthcare, where we secure our paths for employment in a very different environment that we're in. And so I think there's lots of reason to be optimistic if we lean in and we're willing to embrace a different way of working.
Yeah, yeah. And I knew we wouldn't get too far into this without talking about AI, because it does knock on to the skills piece. One of my team was saying the other day that AI is a great leveler, and that's why everyone's looking at it. But they also said that AI in the right hands is like a superpower. And I think that's really true. So, Letitia, let me come on to you. How do you see things evolving? I mean, AI is a big impact or a big influencer. It's maybe not the only thing. How do you see companies adapting?
So first of all, nice to be here. Thank you for having me, and thank you for sharing this panel with me. My name is Nataliya Andreychuk, so I work in Servier as Transformation Excellence Lead, which means that I deal with digital transformation, data transformation, and recently AI transformation every day. And by dealing with it, it means that I get to sit with people all day to understand their opportunities, challenges, constraints, fears sometimes, because even though AI seems magical, it will magically solve everything, well, it's changing our engagement model. Because how, as field forces, when you're meeting with an HCP, you are now entering a room already lit because the person you have in front of you, they already made your research. And usually, from a traditional model, we were the one bringing the light in pharmas. So that's why in terms of capabilities now, it's not only just embracing, okay, we need AI knowledge, we need to hire more AI people. No, we need to get all the knowledge and expertise we already have from all these years we visited HCPs, and how we can transform it, augment it with AI to be 10 times more efficient than we were 4 years ago when ChatGPT wasn't even a word in our vocabulary. So I think that we are there. I think that everyone is committed to that. And I think that we're asking the right questions. But now, will we get the right answers?
Yeah, so the ability to take data, get insights, make that actionable, something we've been striving for a long, long time, but feels like there's a bit of a change there. Thank you. Nataliya, I'm going to move on to you, and you're in this interesting position of sitting on the outside working with many companies. I suspect you often see skills as a key factor in adoption of technologies. How do you see things evolving right now?
Thank you, Paul, for the great question. So my name is Nataliya Andreychuk. I am CEO and co-founder of Viseven company. And yes, we are on the intersection of medical, commercial, IT. And now there is a whole bunch of the new projects which are in the right direction towards patients. So, and evolution for us is not mostly about companies and technology, which is evolving very fast. We all following Claude and the roadmap of it. So the evolution is about the customers. So customers changed. So their expectations have been elevated to the new level. So they do not expect us to go with the old fragmented experiences to deliver them from the different angles, medical, commercial information, patients information. They expect us to have this intelligent, new, unique angle, because this is the very same healthcare professional in front of us. And the dream, I think once we will be asking even AI agent, how do you see my brand? How do you see my brand? Or how do you see it with the eyes with healthcare professional? We want to hear the truth and we want to trust it. So it is not about the evolution of capabilities only, it is the evolution of us being able to deliver that answer, right? So with this connected, intelligent layer we are building, and yes, we are as Viseven, we are building around the content, but this connected layer can be around the omni-channel marketing, around the digital transformation. So there are many angles of it, but we need to build it to say that.
Technology plus new capabilities equals exciting times. I've got to ask, before we move on to kind of individual skills, I'm just really intrigued. We've talked about skills evolution within companies. Does anybody see larger structural change with pharma companies coming through in light of where we are, or is it a bit too early to speculate? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'm just interested if anybody's kind of got any observations there. Open question.
I don't think I've seen changes, but I've heard, like you read it in the articles. There was a McKinsey one lately around AI, and where we're going to see differentiation isn't in productivity gains, and it's actually in systems-wide change.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll have to probably adapt our structure. I haven't seen it yet, but probably going there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
It's
Anybody
fair
else?
call. I think the only thing I'd add to it, I think how we're partnering is changing rapidly.
Yeah.
I don't know if partners are seeing that, but I think
Yeah.
how we're partnering is changing rapidly. And what I mean by that is that with our, tech friends in the background playing a more important role than what they've ever played before, it's changing the equation of how we easily deploy things.
Yeah.
And I think that, we're all very mindful that, like, if you've got 1,000 point solutions, they're really hard to deploy. And so I think we're becoming much more wedded to, like, certain infrastructure on which we have to scale. And that's gonna change some of our ecosystem, but it's certainly gonna change how we partner, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Sally?
have one, right, so like, we are talking with our customers very recently about the evolving role of marketeer. So this evolution of marketeer, with the marketeer of the past was responsible, like very much responsible of strategy and implementation of the next best shiny thing, right? Like, sorry. But today, with AI, it's much more. It's much more, and the expectation has grown. So it's not only the shiny thing, but it is being able to execute it and being responsible for the great result, to learn and execute again. So this is the change, what we can see. And then the other one, the crucial one, medical and commercial together, learning from each other, taking each other experiences, implementing it for the greater good of us patients.
Yeah. Again, I think there's a whole different panel on medical and commercial, because some are like that, some are like that, some are medical within commercial. Who knows where that's going to go? But I think for me, it's an interesting thought experiment, and I sometimes do this around, you think about how much things have changed. If you were to build a pharma company from the ground up right now, would it look like it is now? And I suspect the answer is, at least in some areas, it probably wouldn't. There's a lot of change going on there. Again, maybe a whole separate topic. I want to just dive into the individuals, because that's part of what we wanted to go through here, is as you look at the individuals within these changing structures, we heard about adaptability being a key skill. What else do you think people in particularly medical and commercial roles need to focus on that maybe wasn't true 10 years ago? And Lauren, I'll come back to you on this.
Thank you. I was hoping you would, because I do want to talk about that medical commercial that you're talking about there and the adaptability, just before we go into other ones, because I think if you want to be adaptable, you really do need to challenge yourself. And you were hearing earlier about people shadowing across commercial medical, but if you get a chance, I'd really recommend moving roles between commercial and medical whenever you get a chance. It is challenging, but it's actually really enjoyable as well. And like we were hearing, we learn so much from each other. But at the same time, as an individual, so I can say I've been told that my CV is too marketing to work in medical affairs. I've also been told I'm too medical to work in commercial roles. So I think in both cases, it comes down to me though. So it's around how you communicate your transferable skills across those functions. I know how it works, but I can't expect them to just see it. And so that's another skill, I think, to be able to adapt your spiel to the situation as well. But
Communication.
yes, communication,
I
definitely.
love communication. Alex, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really provocative thought. And it was probably like a decade ago that we were all talking about patient centricity.
Yep.
It was sort of a term that sort of came and went. I'm not sure it really shifted the needle. But now that we're dealing with like the customer experience being like forefront of what we need to be focused on, now that data is getting us to really deeply understand the uniquenesses of the journeys that patients are taking on, I think that irrespective of the function you're in, we can all ground ourselves on, are we doing something good in unison for healthcare? So I'm an optimist on that side. I also think just on individual capability build, I just want to make a comment about like what it takes to be a leader today, because I think it's a little bit different. I think we've never had such opportunity and it's never been so difficult. And I think you need to turn up with like a new level of courage to take on the ambition of driving change today. And yet we've got to do it. We've got to do it because it's right for healthcare. We've got to do it right because you can see that our relevance is going to dissipate if we aren't at the forefront of enabling ambitious change, which is in the interests of science and medicine. But it is painful at the moment. And I say that because I think the more we talk about it, the more we can back ourselves to drive ambitious change in a way that like motivates everyone to be part of the journey rather than holds us back.
Yeah, that's a great point. Courage and maybe a bit of optimism when there's a lot of other stuff going on out there. Letitia?
Well, to relate on many aspects you mentioned, I just like to think of us as a bobsleigh team, all right? Because when we're visiting an HCP, they see us as one entity, and not medical, marketing, sales. And we need to act as a bobsleigh team. It's 4 people in a sleigh, and they form one entity. And one entity that accelerates toward a shared objective, which is winning this race. And so that's why, as marketing teams, medical teams, commercial teams, we need to have this shared vision and understanding of what we need to achieve. We need to provide the right information to the right HCPs to serve their practice and to support them in their practice, to care for their patient and provide the care this patient deserves. So that's why I would react on, of course, we need to have this courage to share this vision, to open the dialogue and discussions with our peers, because it's with breaking the silos that we will really win this race.
That's great, yeah. Thank you. Nataliya?
Maybe I will open this angle when we are all at the race, right? So at the moment, and we are racing towards having the new shiny capabilities. We change vendors very often. We get the partnership certifications, even developing our own LLMs. So we are doing all this stuff very fast. So inside every organization these days, we need to think about people. So because we know AI today on the level 2, it's not still completely autonomous, but where are the people of organization? Once you are taking them with you, or you have been taken to the journey with the shiny technology and with this North Star somewhere, where are your people? Where are you? Are you on the level 1, on the level 2 of this adoption, on the level 3? So that means like understanding of where all the team is, every member of it. It will create this foundation for sharing, for support, and being like one team in this bobsleigh example, right?
You can steal the metaphor.
Yeah. So this is where we need to connect, so that we are all having the same level of conscious and the same understanding where we go. And that's fundamental, I think, for us to succeed.
I love the bobsleigh analogy. It makes me think of the film Cool Runnings with the Jamaican bobsleigh.
Oh.
Very good film if you've not seen it. Right, last 2 minutes, so 30-second quick-fire responses here. Advice that you would give. So if somebody's a junior marketeer or medic in the industry right now looking to get on, what's the best advice you give them in terms of what they should focus on? Nataliya, let me start with you.
Oh, thank you. So I would say you need to survive, thrive, you need to become irreplaceable. So that means you need to prevent to be your humux irreplaceable. So be kind, be curious, be AI-driven, be really adaptable to this change, and really save this human judgment inside you. So because this human judgment will help you to thrive and survive and create the right guardrails for any AI which we will be adopting.
Thank you. Letitia?
I would say be the medical that have a commercial heart and the commercial that have medical and science at heart. You really need to speak a shared language to share a shared vision. And of course that with clear communications and shared understanding, I'm sure that with AI implementation and all this omnichannel orchestration, it will do great, because at the end of the day, it's communication that is key.
That's great. Alex?
Yeah, I'd say I think we're in a fantastic period for advancing healthcare right now. And if you want to shape healthcare, you've got to be one step ahead of where healthcare is today. So lean in on the tech. It's going to make a difference. It's going to set people up for great careers, and I think it's going to really have a positive net impact on healthcare when we look back in a few years' time.
Keeping a focus on the impact you can have. Lauren?
Very good. Yeah, so Alex, you said earlier, there's a lot of fear, I guess, around AI and about the change, but I think one of the best ways to overcome fear is to be prepared. And so hence the focus on being adaptable, because we don't know what's going to come. But I do like to think, because I know in our industry, jobs do come and go. It's unfortunate, and it can be scary at times. But I like to think that there will always be interesting work of some kind for people who are genuinely curious and adaptable.
Yeah.
So focus on that, and I think you'll be fine.
Agree. And I would just briefly add from my perspective, and personal experience, I'd never run a tech company until 18 months ago. It's been a hell of a ride, but challenge yourself. There's all kinds of stuff that you can't control. You can control what you're learning, and you can teach an old dog new tricks. So keep learning, keep developing, and you'll find a positive path. Thank you very much to my panel. That's been awesome. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. We're heading with our next discussion, which is called Patient Empowerment, the Next Frontier. So please welcome to the stage two lovely ladies, Dana Vigier from Alexion and Ludgar Alar from EU MGA.